to be tested. So we will do the testing today. So what we will do, we'll do an example. We will write the code for a trigger. Yes, this is the code. So first of all, let's write a trigger and then we'll test it and see how the testing thing is working. So just let's go ahead and write a trigger here. Okay, let me write a trigger for account. And these are active. So let me just write a trigger for account where I would define some logic. Let's say for account A, I say if in A dot industry equals technology data, yes, equals technology account.
The spelling of the trigger is incorrect. On the second line, yeah.
Trigger dot move for account expected token semicolon. Okay, sorry. Good evening, sir. Before field description is correct, industry is not correct.
Spelling industry, yep.
Yep. Okay. Now this is the trigger. I have to test this trigger. So if you save this trigger, you will see the code coverage for this trigger is 0% at this point of time. Now I have to get the code coverage for this. To get the code coverage, what I have to do, I have to test the trigger. Okay. So what needs to be tested? What is the functionality of this trigger? It should check industry of any account which is technology, and then the description should become technology account, right? So ideally, if you have to test it manually, then what will you do? You will go to account, create one account, and assign that industry equals technology for that account, and then save the record and check it if the description has got updated to technology account or not. Correct? That's how you will test it. Now,
Yep.
if I have to test it through the code, exactly the same thing I have to do. So what we are gonna do, we are just gonna write Apex, but instead of doing it manually, what we are gonna do, we are gonna write Apex, create dummy accounts. How many? 200 with 200 dummy accounts with the industry equals technology. And then you should just check description gets updated correctly. This is what we have to do. Okay, so let's start writing the test. To write the test class, you will just need to go to setup, develop, apex classes. The way you write any normal class, just go to that particular place and start writing the test class. So UI seems to be a little slow. Let me just write it here in the notepad and then I will let me write it. Then I'll put it there. Okay. So your test class will start with as is test annotation. Okay. You will write your test class, start with at is test annotation. Public class, test class, or whatever, my test class, whatever name you want to give to the test class, give that name. Okay. Can you guys read it? Is it readable or how is it? The font, or is it very small? Okay, let me write it here now. Hello.
Uh, yeah, it's sort of small, readable, but very
No,
tiny.
it's fine. No, it's fine. Okay. Yeah. So we start writing here. Okay. So public class, my test class. Inside this test class, you will create a test method. Okay, so you have to specify the test method. It will be a void method, and you can give it whatever name you want. Inside this test method, we have to do whatever we were talking about, create dummy records and all that stuff. So first of all, I'll define a list of account. Test accounts equals new list of account. Because this test accounts, we want to create it, we are gonna just do it with sample records. So I'll say for equals 0, I less than 200, I plus plus, count A equals new and name equals test account plus I plus 3 equals technology test accounts dot add free. Got it? So this loop will add 200 accounts to this particular list, right? For I equals 0 to 200, it's gonna put 200 dummy records in this list of accounts, test accounts. Okay, it will add 200 records to this. Now I will, my actual testing has to be done for the insert thing. Okay, so you can write test dot start test here, test dot start test here, and you can try to insert the test accounts. Okay, so this is the actual thing which needs to be tested. Insert is happening or not happening, so that's something which needs to be tested. Once this insert has happened, you can stop the test, and after this, so the actual DML has happened. Now I have to check whether for the records which just got inserted, I have to check if the value of the description is technology account or not, right? So for that, first of all, I need to fetch or query all these records, because now they have got inserted. So I'll have to query those records from the database and check the description field for them. So if I remove list of account and call it inserted accounts equals select description from where ID in test. So this query will fetch the description of all the account records which just got created. Now I have to check the description field for these records. So I can write another for loop, say for account A1 in inserted accounts. Okay, how will I check? How will I uh, check if the value of description is equal to technology account or not? There is a method called system.assert equals, predefined method. System.assert equals. So all that I have to do is I just have to write the system.assert equals, and I have to check whether this value matches a1.description. So this will check if this and this are same. Okay, these two things are same, these two values. So description of that particular account and this value. That's it. Okay. So what are we testing in this case? In this case, definitely we are testing bulk records. Single record you can test manually also, but while you're testing the bulk record 200 records, that is uh, automatically testing the single thing also. So, yeah. So coming back to this slide which we were discussing, so what do we need to test? We need to test single action. Single action will anyhow be tested with if you are testing bulk action. So we are testing it for 200 records. This is what I'm doing. I'm also checking the positive behavior. That if I provide the value as technology, am I getting the expected output? All right. Negative behavior this particular case does not have. There are any not any restricted user, so I don't need to take check for the restricted user. So I'm checking the bulk behavior, single behavior, positive behavior, three things. So I've written my code and it's covering all these things, so it's good. Now I am okay to go ahead and run the test methods. Now once this test method runs successfully, it will provide the code coverage to my actual code. For integer I. All right. Now just go to the trigger that we just created. Test code is ready, right? Now just go to the trigger and check what is the current code coverage for that particular code. I don't know why this UI is so slow. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, 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 can you hear me? Hello.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So see, this is the trigger that we just created, and this trigger is having 0% code coverage right now because it has, there is no test that we have done, no unit test done for it. Now, I've written a method which will do the test for this. It will try to insert those records and it will check if the description is being populated properly or not. So now all that you have to do is you just have to go to Apex classes and you have to run the test. Let's begin with this. Okay, so once you are on this page, all that you have to do is you have to just say run all tests. Okay, it will run all the test methods which are written in your codes. It will identify the test methods and execute that. And once the test method runs, it will automatically go and give the code coverage to your code, which gets tested through that test method.
Jeet, how did we come to this page? Because your
But
computer was not coming up with
Apex classes,
any repeat.
Apex classes.
Acha, text classes. Okay, text execution. Okay.
This is a trigger. See, I have run the test method and it has got 100% code coverage now, right? Because the positive behavior has been tested with bulk records. That's all we needed to test for this. All right. So that's how it works. So once you have got the code coverage, now your code is safe to move to production. This code will work absolutely fine because see, it has crossed both the limits, 100 limit and the 150 limit, right? If you had written the code in a wrong way or something like that, it would have thrown you error either at record number 101 or at record number 151. So we have tested it for 200 records, which means it's working fine for bulk records also. The common uh, mistake of exceeding the DML and the SQL query limit has not occurred here, which means my code is fine. Right. Now you can go ahead and deploy this code. Got it? That's how our testing thing works in Salesforce. And as I said, at least 75% of the code coverage is required for you to deploy the code to the production from sandbox to production. Right. Now, talking about sandbox, coming to the sandbox point. As I said, we do not have a sandbox for the developer edition that we work with. We usually use a developer edition. It does not come with a sandbox. But while you go in an organization, you might need to work on the sandbox. So though we'll not be able to work on sandbox, but I can give you enough understanding about sandbox. Whatever you need to know about sandbox, I can just tell you, and whatever I'm going to talk in like next 15 minutes or so, if you just remember that or write note it somewhere, you will not have any problem, because see, there is no difference between sandbox and production. Everything else is same. The setup menu, there's that, the way the objects are shown, the way data is created, the way trigger is written, the way page is created, everything is same. Just that there are some small things that you need to keep in mind. Okay, so there are some 5-7 points you just need to keep in mind. You should be okay with sandbox. First point is logging into sandbox. How will you log in into sandbox? The URL that you're going to use while you're trying to log in into Sandbox is going to be test.salesforce.com. This will be the URL. So if you're trying to log in into your Sandbox, you don't use salesforce.com, you use test.salesforce.com. Okay. The second thing that we have here is okay, that's about the URL. Your login name, login ID will be your usual ID.sandbox name. So if your usual ID is abcd at xyz.com and your sandbox name is sandbox1, then your login name becomes this. Okay. So if your production login is abcd at xyz.com and your sandbox name is sandbox1, let's say, or your sandbox name is sb1, so basically the sandbox name. So this entire thing becomes your login ID for your sandbox. Okay. Okay. Second is how you identify sandbox or production environment. How will you understand? If someone is logged in a certain environment, how will you identify whether it's a sandbox or a production environment? So if you go to Salesforce, if it's a sandbox, you will get to see it here. Sandbox and sandbox name will be written here, right at the top, above the setup. Okay. So I'm not very sure, but if you come across a situation where you are given a login and you just want to figure out whether it's a sandbox or production environment, you can figure it out from here. Which edition, you can go ahead and check here. So if it's developer edition, there is no point of sandbox and all that stuff. But if it's an enterprise edition or if it's an unlimited edition, then you can see if nothing is being displayed here means this is a production environment. If it's a sandbox environment, here the sandbox name will appear. Sandbox and sandbox name. So it will be like sandbox SB1. So this is what we will get to see if it's a sandbox environment. That's the second thing. Rest apart from that, there is no way to for you to figure out, uh, whether it's sandbox or production. I mean, there are a few other ways, where you can figure out, but rest everything else looks so similar, and acts very very similar to the production. Third thing, deploying components from sandbox to production. This is the third thing that I will talk about. Before I talk about deploying the components from sandbox to production, we will just keep it aside for 5 minutes, and I'll talk about another concept. Just leave the sandbox part a little aside for 5 minutes. There's another concept which I would want to discuss. That's packaging and distribution. Okay. Packaging and distribution is what? Packaging and distribution is the concept of putting the Salesforce components in a package and distribute it with someone else. Someone else means some other person who is not a part of my org. So let's say Naren has created an app, and I ask him, hey Naren, your app looks nice. Will you share it with me? So Naren's organization Salesforce org is different. My Salesforce org is different, right? So with packaging and distribution concept, he can share his app with me. Okay, so while we are talking about app, what is an app in Salesforce? An app is a combination of certain functionalities, certain custom objects, validation rules, right? Your app can have a lot of things. So when I say can you give me this app, you'll have to share all those components with me, right? Let's say in your app you have defined 2 validation rules, 3 triggers, 2 visual post pages. So you'll have to give me all those things, right? And I need to install all those things in my org. That's it, right? That's how simple it's going to be. So packaging and distribution allows you to do that. So all that you have to do is you just have to create a package, put all the necessary components for that app in the package, and then upload the package. Okay. So the process is pretty simple. Create a package, add components to the package. The way you send a courier. If you have certain things, if I ask you to send those to me, what will you do? You will take an envelope, put those things in that envelope, or in a box, then go to the courier company and say that okay, fine, send it to my friend. So then I will receive those things. It's the same thing. You have to create a package. You'll have to add the components that you want to send to me or to anyone. Then you'll have to upload the package. Okay. When you upload the package, you get the installation URL. Okay, once that package gets uploaded, you will receive an installation URL. You just have to share the installation URL with anyone who you want to share the package with. Share the installation URL. Now I can use that installation URL to install all those components in my org. As simple as that. Got it? So how does this process work? Let's have a look into this. Go to develop, no, create, sorry. Go to create packages, create a new package, name it whatever you want to name, package 1 or whatever. and save it. So your package is ready. Now you have to add the components in package that you want to share with me, right? Right. Now click on add. Now what components you want to share through the package, you have the option to select them. You have the triggers, classes, validation rules, templates, email template that you've designed. So whatever you want to share, you just have to pick that and you can share. Apps. Okay. You have designed, built a recruitment app and you want to share it. Add this to the package. If you select recruitment app, then all the things, all the components under the recruitment app, all those tabs and objects will also be added. So whatever you want to add, components should be added to the package, whatever you want to add. A package contains components such as apps, objects, reports, email templates. So those components should be added. Once all these components are added, all that you have to do is you just have to go ahead and upload the package. When you try to upload it, okay, just upload it. So the upload is complete and this is the installation URL. If you share this installation URL with anyone, that person will be able to install these components. These are the components which are in this package. See, so this is Pankaj's login. Okay, so Pankaj has created this app, recruitment app. If I want the same app, I don't have to actually go and create everything on my own. What that I need to do is I just need to ask him that, okay, can you just share it with me? He can put all those components in the package. See, all the components have been put in the package, and if I have the installation URL, I can just install it and I will get the complete recruitment app. Okay, so transferring components from one org to the other org works using the packaging and distribution concept. It's a very simple concept, right? But it is only transferring metadata. No actual data is getting transferred. Only the objects, fields, validation rules, these things are getting transferred. Actual data is not getting transferred. That will not get transferred, don't worry. So this is the packaging distribution concept. Clear on it? Let me know if there is any doubt. Very simple thing, very useful. Sometimes you might have a sample requirement, or you might have a requirement to work on, and then you might want to share it with someone else, maybe your client. You want to just uh, share whatever you have developed with your client so that the client can actually deploy it on their environment. This is how you can do it. Okay. Now, deploying your components from sandbox to production is also similar. That's what we need to do when I'm trying to move something from sandbox to production, right? So sorry. When I'm using packaging and distribution, I'm basically trying to uh, move the components from one Salesforce org to other org. But when I'm moving it from sandbox to production, it's about the same company, but concept remains the same. Alright. Why I wanted to show you the packaging distribution first, so that you understand how things will work for sandbox and production. Just the names are gonna change, but the rest everything remains same. In case of sandbox to production deployment, we call it a change set instead of package. Instead of the word package, you use the word change set. Everything else works the same way. Okay. So deploying sandbox to production, what you have to do? Create a change set. Where will you get the change set? You will get it under setup, deploy, uh, outbound change set. Okay. So you should go to setup, and this should happen on the sandbox environment. On sandbox environment, because you're trying to send things from sandbox to production, right? So you should go to sandbox environment, create a change set. To create a change set, you just have to go to setup, deploy, outbound change set, and there under outbound change set you can say new change set. Okay. Then add components to change set and upload. Same way. Now you have to log out of sandbox, login to production environment. Now whatever you have sent from there, you have to receive that here, right? So this time you will again go to, in the production you will go to setup, deploy, inbound change set. Okay. Select the change set you want to deploy. So the one that you have sent from here, there is no concept of sharing the link. Whatever you sent from here, the one that you send as an outbound change set here is received here in the inbound change set. Okay. So all that you have to do is you just have to choose the change set that you want to deploy, and then just deploy. So those components will get created in your production environment also. Okay. The process completely works like a package, just that one, the word that is being used is different. There we call it package, here we call it change set. Number two, the uh, process is a little different in terms of there is no installation URL which you need to share. Automatically, the one that you send from there as an outbound change set is received here as an inbound change set. Here also, only the metadata is being transferred from one environment to the other. Actual data is not being transferred. In the same way, if you want to move something from production to the sandbox, let's say you have created something in the production environment and you want to take it to the sandbox, you can do the outbound change set from here, from the production, and receive it in the sandbox. That's also doable. So these are just two, environments which are connected to each other, and you just have to transfer the components as a change set. So you create a change set, put the components, send it through the outbound change set, go to the other environment, go to inbound change set, receive that, and deploy it. That's it. So overall, if you know, if you guys want, you can take a snapshot of this, or if you want, I can put it in the chat window. You want to paste it or something, or if you want, I can email it to you. So if you know this much, apart from this, there is nothing very particular about Sandbox, because sometimes I feel people do have a challenge, answering questions related to Sandbox, or the moment they enter a company, and because they have talked about a bit of experience, they have no understanding of Sandbox, because Sandbox is the only thing that you will not get to see on a developer edition. So this is the only thing that you need to know. Apart from this, rest everything that you have done on developer edition in Sandbox, things are done exactly the same way. Creating web pages, triggers, rules, workflows, approval process, everything works the same way. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's basically about. Okay. Now, just one quick thing. Again, we were talking about that testing 75% code coverage. So till the time you do not have 75% code coverage for your Apex code, if you try to add the component and try to upload it, add an Apex component and upload it, that Apex component will not get uploaded from Sandbox to production if it does not have 75% code coverage. It has to have 75% code coverage, then only it can be uploaded, or then only it can be sent to the production. So Salesforce has kind of made it mandatory for you to test your Apex with the test method, and then only deploy it. Right. So that's it for today. Please let me know if anyone has a question or doubt, anything that you want to ask.
Ji sir, can I ask one question?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's not about what is covered today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit different, but it's regarding sandbox. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know why they are different kind of sandboxes. What is the actual difference between them?
Types of sandbox you are saying, different
Yes,
types of.
basically, I
Achha,
mean,
see,
developer. Yeah.
basically what happens, uh, there are four different types of sandbox. Okay. Now, when you have a sandbox, you have sandbox for different reasons. And every company can have a different requirement from the sandbox. So some company may have a requirement that I need the actual data in the sandbox also. Some company have that kind of requirement. Some company will say, no, I just don't need the actual data on the sandbox. I just want dummy data on the sandbox, right? Reasons can be different. One company can have a belief that I can do proper testing only if actual data is available. The other company can be of a belief that I don't want to expose my data to the developers, right? So you need basically, we call four different types of sandbox, but concept wise there are two types of sandbox. One which will hold your actual data, one which will hold your dummy data. Okay, not actual data. The rest everything is same. So developer sandbox, and then there is developer pro sandbox, and then there is partial copy sandbox, and then we have a full sandbox. Okay, so I've told you about the reason why companies will look for a particular type of sandbox. Sometimes the company has a logic that I want the developers to work on actual kind of data. Though it's sandbox, but the data present in that is actual. Sometimes they want them to work on dummy data, which is not at all related to the actual data. So developer sandbox and developer pro sandbox have dummy data. Partial sandbox and full sandbox have actual data. Partial sandbox has partial data, some part of your actual data. Full sandbox has your complete actual data. Okay. So these two sandbox, partial and full copy sandbox, are used for doing thorough testing on the actual kind of records, right? Where you feel that no, I have to test it in the actual set of records and all that stuff. So for that, partial copy and full sandbox are there. These two sandbox are more used for development purpose and basic testing, because anyhow your testing is being done with sample records or dummy records. Got it? So this four. The developer pro has more space as compared to developer sandbox. Partial copy has part of your data. Full sandbox is all your actual data,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So that's it. So depending on the requirement, the company will pick which kind of sandbox they need. If your company's development is happening, for example, let's say your company, you're working for a company, or you are running a company, and you decide to give me your company's development work. Okay, I take your development work as a freelancer. Okay, then which kind of sandbox do you think you are gonna give me? Full copy, full partial developer? Just think about it. If you have to outsource it to the team of developers which is sitting in a different location, which sandbox you think will be okay?
I'll try for developer or developer pro because I don't want you to use my data
Yeah,
to
right.
get the.
Correct. So that is the thing. All right. Any other thing? Anything else?
Nothing.
So meet tomorrow, same time. Thank you guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.